I'm not the kind of person who believes in ghost stories. I always thought urban legends were just that, legends. Something you whisper at sleepovers to scare your friends. But what happened to me that night? I wouldn't wish on anyone. It started with a Reddit thread. A guy posted about a ritual game called the Midnight Game. Supposedly, it was an old pagan punishment ritual, a way to punish people who had broken spiritual laws. He said all you had to do was follow a few creepy steps, and at exactly midnight you'd summon the Midnight Man. The challenge? Survive in total darkness with only a candle until 3:33 a.m. If your candle goes out, relight it within 10 seconds. If you fail, he finds you. And what happens then, no one lives to tell. I scoffed. Sounded fake. But then again, I was bored. Alone. And something about tempting the darkness felt exciting. I started the game at 11:55 p.m. I followed the instructions exactly. My name, written in blood on a piece of paper. A wooden door I knocked on 22 times, the final knock as the clock hit 12 a.m. Then I lit a candle and turned off all the lights. For the first 20 minutes, it was quiet. Too quiet. The candle flickered, then steadied. My footsteps echoed in the hallway. I remember chuckling to myself. What a joke! Then I heard it. 3 slow knocks, coming from inside my apartment wall. I froze. The air around me dropped by 10 degrees. My breath fogged. The candle started flickering, wildly. And then, it went out. I fumbled to relight it. 1 second, 2. My lighter refused to spark. 4 seconds. My hands shook. 8 seconds. On the 9th second, it lit. But standing at the end of the hallway was him. He was taller than any human should be. Skin pale like moldy wax, no eyes, just gaping dark sockets that seemed to suck in the candlelight. He didn't move. He didn't breathe. He just watched. And then he smiled. I ran. I ran through my apartment like a madman, the candle's tiny flame barely lighting the path. Every time I turned, I caught a glimpse, behind doors, peeking from under tables, reflected in mirrors. He was everywhere. And then silence. I checked the time. 3:31 a.m. 2 minutes left. I hid in my closet, holding my breath. The flame was still burning. But then I heard it. A whisper. Right in my ear. Found you. The candle blew out. I woke up the next morning on the living room floor. Candle burned out. Door wide open. I thought maybe I dreamed it all. But every mirror in my apartment was cracked. The piece of paper with my name? It was burned, except for one corner, where my name still showed. And scratched into my bedroom wall was, next time, no second chances. They say the Midnight Game is just a spooky story from the internet. A harmless ritual shared for laughs and thrills. But I know what I saw. And I know what followed me home. These so-called games have origins in dark folklore, not entertainment. Do not attempt this ritual. What you summon may not let you go. This story is not meant to be performed. Viewer discretion is advised. I've lived in the city for 6 years. It's crowded. Loud. Always awake. But sometimes, even the busiest city becomes too quiet. And that's when the things hiding in the dark start to come out. This happened last fall. I work night shifts at a downtown bar. I usually get off around 3 a.m. and walk home. It's a 15-minute walk. I never felt unsafe. Until that night. It started around 3:17 a.m. I was walking through a mostly empty street, just a few flickering street lamps, the sound of my boots echoing on the wet pavement. And then I saw him. About a block ahead. A man dancing under the streetlight. No music. Just swaying, twitching, like he was puppeteering his own limbs with invisible strings. He was wearing a gray suit, old, faded. And his face. I swear to God. He was smiling so wide, his cheeks looked torn. It wasn't joyful. It was wrong. Too wide. Too frozen. Like his face forgot how to be human. I laughed nervously and looked away. I didn't want to be rude. People are weird in the city. No big deal. But when I looked back, he was closer. Still smiling. Still dancing. I crossed the street. Fast. Didn't look back for a while. But when I did, he had stopped dancing. He was now standing perfectly still. Facing me. Arms limp. Head tilted slightly. And smiling. I picked up my pace. I turned a corner, hoping to shake him off. The street was quiet. No cars. No one. And then I heard footsteps behind me. Fast, light, like skipping. I turned around. There he was. Closer now. Still grinning. Still twitching. But this time, he spoke. "Why aren't you smiling?" His voice was soft. Childlike. Almost disappointed. I didn't answer. I turned and ran. I sprinted into an alley. No time to think. My heart pounding in my ears. I crouched behind a dumpster, trying not to breathe. Silence. Then I heard it. A low, crooning hum. A melody with no tune. Getting closer. Then, a whisper right behind me. "You'd look so beautiful if you just smiled." I turned around. He was there. Face inches from mine. Eyes wide, unblinking. That horrible smile stretching impossibly. His jaw began to open wider and wider, like it was dislocating. I blacked out. When I woke up, it was morning. People were walking past like nothing had happened. The street was bright. Safe. But when I got home, I saw something scratched into my door. "Smile for me next time." They say the smiling man is just a creepypasta. A myth. An internet ghost story. But if it's fake, why do so many people see the same man? In different cities. Wearing that same gray suit. With that same impossible smile? And why does he always ask the same question? "Why aren't you smiling?" Smiling Face with Horns. Subscribe to Echo and Ash Stories for more tales that walk the line between nightmare and reality. I live alone in a quiet part of town, about 30 miles from the nearest city. My neighbors are a good distance away, and nights are usually silent, peaceful, even. That night was different. It was a little after 11 p.m. I was half asleep on the couch, a rerun playing quietly, when I heard 3 soft knocks at the door. Not urgent. Just patient. At first, I thought it might be a delivery mix-up or maybe a lost traveler. But who knocks on someone's door this late? I stood up, walked slowly to the peephole, and saw 2 kids. They couldn't have been older than 10. A boy and a girl, both in old-fashioned clothes. The boy wore a buttoned-up coat. The girl had her hair in pigtails. They just stood there. Not moving. Not speaking. Head slightly tilted. I didn't open the door. Instead, I called out, "Can I help you?" The girl responded, too calm. "We need to use your phone. Please let us in." No emotion. No panic. No tears. Just a cold, robotic tone. Something felt wrong. My instincts screamed not to open that door. I looked back through the peephole. That's when I noticed it. Their eyes. Completely black. No whites. No irises. Just deep, endless darkness. I stumbled back. My breath caught in my throat. Then came another knock. Louder. More insistent. "Please! Let us in. We won't hurt you. We just need your help." Their voices were flat, lifeless. Almost like they were rehearsing human speech. The lights in my house flickered. Then the power went out. Dead silence. My phone had no signal. My landline? Static. I lit a candle and backed away from the door, heart pounding. I thought maybe if I waited them out, they'd leave. But they didn't. For over 10 minutes, I could hear them walking around the porch, knocking on the windows, whispering. Not words. Just a soft, inhuman hiss. Then came the final straw. A voice, right behind me, whispered in my ear. "We'll come back when you're ready to say yes." I spun around. No one was there. But the candle blew out. The next morning, the power returned. Everything seemed normal again. Except for my front door. There were tiny handprints smeared in soot across the glass. I moved out a week later. But even now, sometimes I wake up to faint knocking. Always around 11 p.m. And I never answer. The black-eyed children are said to be an internet myth. A modern legend born from fear and folklore. But people across the world have seen them. Always at night. Always asking to come in. And if you ever hear soft knocking late at night, don't answer. Don't look. Don't speak. Some doors are meant to stay closed. This story is fictional and inspired by urban legends. Please do not seek out or engage with these myths in real life. Subscribe to Echo and Ash Stories for more tales that bring darkness just a little too close to home.